Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 60 of the Brighter Horizons podcast. Long-awaited moment, guest episode with our boy Caden. Let's go. Caden, introduce yourself.
What is up, everybody? My name is Caden. I am honored to be a guest on the Brighter Horizons podcast. I've been friends with these guys for a very long time. I'd like to say I am probably one of the biggest fans of this podcast. I watch basically every episode. I go to school in Toronto, so unfortunately, I'm not here all the time. But I'm back currently right now, and I have never been more excited in my entire life to make this podcast.
Caden is the man, bro. He has been supporting us since the start of this channel, and things were not always great on the Brighter Horizons podcast. We had a lot to improve on, but this guy, he watched every single episode.
I did.
And he's one of the main reasons why we kept going and kept becoming better and improving. So it was only natural that when he came back, he was hopping on the pod. We have a lot to talk about. Caden's got hella lore. He's got a lot of experiences to talk about. So we're going to get into that in just a moment. But Caden, first, why don't you tell us a bit about your life?
So, like I said, I go to school in Toronto. I go to Toronto Metropolitan University for sport media. I've been having a lot of fun with it so far. It's definitely it's kind of a crazy feeling just leaving everything behind and kind of moving away, because I've been in BC my entire life. I've been in the same household, like my childhood home, been there my entire life. So leaving all of that and leaving kind of, all the friends, all the experiences, all the memories behind, and going to a place that is completely unfamiliar was a very scary feeling. I remember kind of like the week leading up to me leaving, I was really, really scared. I was really nervous. I didn't really want to go. I remember kind of having like doubts, and I was scared. Like most people are. University is a whole kind of new ballpark, but especially when you're leaving kind of everything behind and going abroad, going to live by yourself. It's definitely nerve-wracking, but it's a learning experience. But I've had a lot of fun. My first semester, obviously, it's done. That's why I'm here for winter break. I go back very shortly though, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy. It's been pretty fun so far.
That's honestly the best way you could sum it up. I mean, there's definitely a lot of uncertainty that goes into leaving. I remember the last week you were leaving, actually. I was, like it was yesterday. I remember you were tweaking for a couple of days before leaving.
I was.
It was a very, very, nervous and scary time for you. But I think that you started to find your groove, and that's a good thing, right? It does take time, though. I think that that's one thing everybody needs to know and learn from you and anybody else in your life. If you ask them, how did you adjust to something new, they'll tell you the first week or so was very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Right? For me, starting this podcast, I obviously enjoy doing it, but that doesn't mean I was excited to post it, because I knew it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I was worried about what everybody else thought, and I just didn't really want to do it. But I thought, you know what? Over time, I'll get better. Over time, I'll find my groove. And that's exactly what you did in Toronto as well, which is good, because the first few weeks of you being there, I would say, were rough. And we're definitely going to get into that, because I'd say that it definitely took you a minute to find that groove. But once you found it, I feel like you enjoyed it a lot better. And now when you go back, you're going to have a lot of different perspectives and different experiences that you learned from, so you can hit the ground running as soon as the semester starts, right? But I'd say the beginning was definitely a bit of a shock for you. Why don't you tell us how it was adjusting to the Toronto life, going to school there, and kind of being on your own? How did that go? Did it go well in the beginning? If not, what would you change next time around?
All right, so moving there first, I was thankfully I do have family there. I have an uncle, and they live about an hour kind of away from where I am, so I do have like someone. So I got there like the 25th of August, and school started on the 2nd of September. So I also had, thankfully, my mom, she stayed there kind of an extra week. So she left, we got there the Saturday, she left the Sunday after. So I did have people, but yeah, I remember after I got like my dorm and stuff kind of ready, and I remember like my mom and my uncle, they left, and I was like, I was by myself, and I was like, wow, like I didn't really know what to do. Like I was nervous because I was like, do I go meet people? Do I just kind of sit here? Like I don't really know what to do. And what I quickly came to find out, which is just anybody going into university for the first time, just always remember that everyone, like all the first years, all the new people that I was meeting, they were all in the exact same situation as me. Obviously, like not to the same, I'd say, extent, because most of the people that I met were like from Ontario. Like they can go see their family kind of when they want, and they had friends like nearby or that went to the same school as them. But they were also like new. Like they didn't have any friends. They didn't, they didn't know anybody. So it was awesome, kind of like getting to meet them and interact with them because everyone was so friendly, and it was great because it's like we're all experiencing this together. It's not like that's what kind of made it easier for me is I realized like, hey, I'm not the only person that's going through this. I'm not the
Mhm.
only person that's, homesick. I'm not the only person that has no friends right now. I have these other people around me that are in the exact same boat as me. So it was awesome to kind of meet with them and talk to them about that kind of stuff, like just the whole being homesick and stuff like that. So the first night, um, I met up with, or I was introduced and met with these four other dudes. Um, Still friends with them, obviously. We kind of walked around, explored kind of downtown a little bit. Um, then the Monday, I was able to meet another person. I met another friend, and then Tuesday was when my program kind of had their own like orientation. So you kind of go there, you meet all the faculty, you meet all
Right.
the people. So I was able to meet some of those guys, and that was awesome. So without like the first week, it was yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. Meeting all the people were cool, but same thing, like adjusting to, kind of living by yourself, like just, what time I'm getting up. Like, hey, the dining hall closes at 9, like I gotta go eat. Like, just kind of stuff like that that I really didn't think would have been like that kind of big of you know, a priority. Not a priority, but like, living at home, it's like, oh, I can eat whenever I want.
That's
Like,
true.
just
That's
it's
true.
kind of something like that.
That's
Like
true.
I can eat whenever I want. But so yeah, that was kind of a learning experience. And then we had orientation week. So the whole week before school started was, like I said, orientation week. The whole point is just to meet people. So yeah, I met a lot of cool people, a lot of awesome people that, like I said, I'm still friends with. Um, and then school started, and it was definitely it was an adjustment. It was an adjustment. I'd say the first kind of few weeks, it was, it was like, it kind of felt like high school, but like in a different sense because while I still kind of had like I was still going to school, I was still doing all that. But obviously it was different because I'm across kind of the world or I'm across the country from where
Yeah.
I was before. And the funny thing that I found is as kind of the semester carried on, it was like um university is such a different like it's such a different kind of schooling than high school. Like it's just so different in the sense that you really like parents or whatever, if you have kids that are going into university, like you might want to like skip out on this part, but you really don't have to go. Like you really do not have to go to school. And that was the thing that's like cuz like dude in high school like I was a decent student. Like I got like A's and B's sometimes, but like I never like skipped class. I never did anything like that. And then you go to university and it's like, dude, like I can do this from my bed. Like I can do this from the comforts of my own household
Okay.
and I
Okay.
don't like, it's like so that was kind of a learning curve that I had to get over. Like I had to get over getting up and like going to school cuz some of my 8 a.m. classes it's like, bro, like I can do this from my home, man. Like I can do this, by myself. So that was definitely an adjustment period, something that I had to adapt to. If I was to change one thing about my, um, yeah, if I was to change one thing about kind of my introduction to school, I wish that, see, this is funny because, like I said, I did meet a lot of people,
Mhm.
but I wish I met more. Like I wish I introduced myself to more people, cuz kind of how orientation week went for me is like I said, I met a bunch of people. I'm still friends with them to this day. They're awesome. They're awesome people. But I only hung out with them. Like it's like kind of like every single day, it's just we would go and do something and something else like that. And how like that was awesome. Like it was fantastic to continue to get to know them and continue to bond with them. But I kind of wish that I was also taking that time to meet, new people, to make new connections, to form more friendships and stuff like that.
That's very true. I mean, as a first year, you have the most opportunity because everyone is looking for that,
Yeah.
right? As you kind of go on through the years, I think that there's still a lot of social people,
Mm-hmm.
but for the most part, they have friend groups now. You've
Yeah,
had time to establish that. So in your first year, don't take that opportunity for granted. Talk to as many people as possible, for
Exactly.
sure. But yeah, I mean, one thing you said that was really interesting is saying that we're all going through this together. That's one thing that I think that most of us kind of don't realize enough because we kind of live more individual lives these days. With technology, we're all kind of sectored off doing our own thing. But you got to realize that whatever challenges you're going through, people might not go through the exact same thing, but it's kind of just the same thing in a different font. That's the best way I'd describe it. There's people around the world going through the same challenges that you're going through. So don't think that you're alone and you're helpless. Like there are people out there who have put out resources saying, "Oh, when I was in your situation, this is what I did." Go find those people, talk to them, see what insights they have, learn from it, and get better. That's
Yeah,
like the
exactly.
only thing, man. Don't feel lonely. And that's one thing I got to ask you about. How did you combat loneliness when you were over there? Because you didn't have any of the closest friends you had. Like our entire friend group was back home. You're the only person who had to go far away to go study. How did you manage to get over that barrier of being alone and in your own head?
So I'd say the first kind of it was really weird because the first month was really difficult because like the obviously I had friends, but like the connections that I had with them was not what I have with you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like I knew them, but I didn't like know them.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt, yeah, like I said, it was weird because I did have friends. Like I had people that wanted to hang out with me all the time. I had people that I could go and I could knock on their door and say, "Yo, do you want to do this?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, of course." So in the physically lonely aspect of it, I was never really lonely. Like I was very fortunate to meet, like I said, I was very fortunate to meet a fantastic group of people on the first day, and then I met more people on the second day, more people on the third day. So I was never really alone in the sense that I always kind of had people to like physically do stuff with them. But yeah, it's like I never really had the connection, obviously, because I just met them, but like I never have the connection with them that I do with you guys. So I feel like mentally, I wasn't physically alone, but like the mental aspect of it, I was definitely alone. Like if I had a problem and stuff like that. And obviously it's like I I can't like I could talk to them about it, but like they're kind of going through, I would assume they're kind of going through the same thing as me, like, leaving all the family and stuff like that. Like they don't
Yeah.
really want to kind of, I can't really go to them with stuff like that. So in the sense of loneliness, yeah, mentally it was really challenging to kind of um accept that I'm not around family anymore, that I'm not around friends anymore, like stuff like that. But thankfully me and the people that I was, or some of them, like I'm not gonna say I have established this bond with every single friend that I've made, but like me and a good amount of people have established a connection. Like I said, nothing to like what I have with you guys,
Yeah.
but a connection to where I do feel that I can go to them with with stuff, and just kind of takes away that aspect of mentally being alone, which is good. So yeah, I would say to anyone moving away to university or just, being around and meeting new people for the first time, it's really key to just meet people. Like it's extremely key to meet people, because if you don't have anybody, that's a big issue. Like you have to have people to lean on. And like I said, thankfully I was able, like I could lean on you guys when I needed it, which I did.
This guy called us all the time.
I did.
With random stories, crazy things happening.
I did. That did happen. But it's also good to have someone like that you see on a day-to-day basis to lean on, because it's just kind of a different kind of, it's different, right? Like it's different to have someone that you can talk to online, and it's different that you can have someone to talk to in person. So yeah, I'd say the number one goal that everyone should be focusing on when you first go to university is just make friends, dude. Just meet people, just create those bonds, create those friendships, because later on, kind of, if times ever get tough for you, if, situations happen, if stuff goes wrong, it's always good to have people physically there with you that can support you and kind of help you out.
That's true. That's really true. I mean, honestly, if you don't have somebody around you, it's really tough to get through a lot of these things. I think that it's important to be solid in yourself, but at the same time, having somebody around that you can just explain, hey, this is what I'm going through, like just getting it off your chest is often the best thing. The way I like to describe it is your brain is kind of like a water tank. Like it can only hold so much thoughts and, despair.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to release some of that, get it out, because otherwise you're going to sink, bro.
Exactly.
That you can't do that. You can't do that to yourself. You need to get out there. You need to let those things out to trusted individuals. I want to go out there spewing all my issues to every single person. But I think that you find a couple good friends, you talk to them, you say, hey, like, I'm going through this.
Yeah.
That's one of the best things to do for your mental health. And that's something that I had to learn as well, because I'm older than most of the people I'm really, really good friends with. So it's hard for me to explain a lot of my problems to them, because I have a certain responsibility to maintain my image as a successful individual who doesn't need help. But the truth is, no matter who you are, you need help from somebody. Nobody in this life will make it alone. That's why there's so many studies on the psychological impacts of being alone and not leaning on people. People who don't have good friends, people who don't talk their problems out, live shorter lives for a reason.
Yeah.
It's because it's difficult to deal with these things on your own. And we're running a podcast all about living a more positive life, being happier. If you want the biggest tip to being happy, have friends, man. I don't think I really need to explain that. Just go out there, make connections, and talk to people, because that will really change your life. And I think that for you, a lot of those nights where you kind of went through it and just kind of ended up in your own head, you called on us, right? You called us, said, like, guys, I'm struggling here. And we were there as best as we could, through the phone.
Yeah.
But there were some of your really close friends who were there for you when you really went through it. Those people who talked to you, hung out with you late at night, and helped you get through those. In that moment, could you describe the impact that it made, having somebody there to listen to you?
Yeah, it really, like, it meant the world to me, knowing that, like, I have people that care about me enough to, like, listen to me and talk to me and hang out with me. Like, people that it's just such an awesome feeling to know that, like, there are people out there that, like, genuinely, like, just enjoy your presence and will take time out of time out of their day to hang out with you and to do stuff with you.
That's true.
It's like, it's just so awesome. So, like, when times do get tough, or if I'm going through something, it's just always a good thing to just reflect and just, I kind of realize that, hey, like, there are lots of people out there that genuinely care about me, genuinely value me and my character and who I am as a person. And that's just always, it's such a rewarding, it's such a good feeling to have.
That's a good way to put it. A really good way to put it. Now, let me ask you this question, because I don't think that everybody else is going to know the answer, even though I do. Why did you choose sports media? Because this is a very obscure
It
degree
is,
to go
it
into.
is.
Like how many schools actually offer this program?
This is the only one in North America.
Only one in
Only
North
one in
America.
North America, guys.
The only one.
Only
That's
one.
crazy.
Only
Think about
one.
that. And like the States is huge. Like
Yeah.
I'm surprised they don't have a program like this. But this is the only one. So Caden, tell us
is.
why are we going to sports media? Huh?
So, I have kind of always wanted to. So, kind of growing up, I had this thing that I wanted to be an architect. I don't know why. That's just kind of what I thought about. And then it was last summer actually. I had always liked sports. Like I watched basically like every single sport, right? So, kind of last summer, I realized that I wanted to do something in the field of sports. I didn't know what yet, but I wanted to do something. So there's this YouTube channel out there. It's called Bar Down. They kind of work with TSN. There's a bunch of I have another story about that after. But
Okay, we're gonna get into that.
So they just make kind of mostly hockey videos, but it's TSN is kind of like the ESPN of Canada or the 1A 1B kind of. But so I messaged some of their members and I was like, "Yo, like where did you go to university? Because like I'm kind of trying to do what you I'm trying to do what you do, but like I don't really know where to start. Like I don't know what to do." And one of them responded to me. Actually, two of them responded to me, but only one actually gave an answer. So shout out Eric. You're not watching this, but Eric from Bar Down, you're a goat. I love you, bro. So
Wait, what did the other guy say?
He was like, I'll respond later when I have a moment. And I was like, perfect, man. Thank you. You never responded. It's okay.
Capper.
Then.
Straight
I forgive you.
capper.
I forgive you. It's all right. But yeah, and he told me about this program, and it's called, it was Sports Media at TMU. And I was like, all right. So that's kind of when I started to work towards this goal. And so I have a funny story. Well, not a funny story, but it's a story.
Go for it.
So I like I said, that was about August, and we'll probably get to this part a little bit later. But I started a YouTube channel, just kind of talking about sports, because what I thought is obviously the sports media. Like I said, it's basically the only program of its kind offered in North America. So it is a very, very highly competitive program, very hard to get into. This year, so for the first years, I believe 73 people were accepted, right? So
Damn.
very, very difficult program to get into. So I started this YouTube channel. Like I said, I just talk about sports, and kind of my thought process was, all right, my selling point to them is I'm going to be like, look at me, like I have some kind of knowledge, like I'm kind of doing this already, like that. That's kind of my thought process. So, I remember I was on TikTok. I was doom scrolling, unfortunately, but I was on TikTok and I saw this. It was an edit, and it was like an edit of like Toronto, Toronto, and then it was like a video of like the skyline, and then it was like a Vince Carter doing like the dunk, like the "It's over" dunk, like that, and stuff like that. And the song in the background, it was it's actually this is the story, because this song is in my Instagram bio. It's So this is the origin story of the song. It's called it's Lord Knows by Drake and Rick Ross. Okay, so that song's on in the background, and I don't know, something about that song. It just kind of like, it was like, wow. So whenever I played that song, I would always think about Toronto. Okay, so through like the months of like October, November, December, every single day when I would walk to school, I would only I would only play that song, and I would just imagine myself. I would imagine myself a year from now listening to this song, but I'm in the program and I'm walking around downtown Toronto. Right?
So you're saying you're listening to the song walking to school. Like this is back in September of high school.
Yeah, this is
like
September of grade 12. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm imagining myself a year from now
In Toronto.
listening to the song walking
Damn,
around.
Okay.
So that kind of happened. And then we can get into another story about my journey of actually getting into this program, because like it's wild. Spoiler alert, I got in like a week before we left for Japan.
Oh my god, I totally forgot about that.
I got into this program after I graduated school. Like I graduated school intending to do something completely different, and then I got accepted. So what happened was, like I said, highly competitive program, and they emailed me and they're like, hey, like we're gonna waitlist you, but like it's a really competitive program. Like I don't think you're gonna get in, but like we'll waitlist you. And I was like, all right, man. Like, and I was crushed. I was like, oh my god, bro, like you cannot be serious. So that song, I just completely stopped listening to it because every single time I think about it, it just made me sad because it's like, like I'm not gonna say a road not taken, but it's like, dude, like I can't do this anymore. Like
Yeah.
I can't live this out. So this is like I said, this is a true story. I'm telling you, this 1,000% happened. Um, so like I said, time goes by, I do get accepted, and like I said, I'm through the roof and all of that. And now we are at the time where I am on the plane, like I am on the plane flying into Toronto, and I have my headphones on, and I'm just like I said, I'm just listening to music, and as fate would have it, that song starts playing. I'd completely forgotten about it because like I said, I just stopped listening to it, right? Stopped listening to it because it made me upset. So this is probably the first time I listened to the song since like February. Like I said, completely forgot about it. So the song starts playing and I was like, "Oh my god." Like I remember like holy crap, like this is what I envisioned. And I'm telling you, I have a video of it on my phone. Like this actually happened. I'm on the plane. I am like sitting window seat, and I look out to my left, and it's like we are flying conveniently past Toronto, like past the skyline of the city.
No
So
way.
the song starts playing, and I look out, and I'm just like Toronto, and the song's in the background, and I was like, bro, like this is this is what I imagined. Like this is exactly what I thought of. Like this well, it wasn't a year at that point. It
This was
probably
the
like
dream.
9 months before. I was like, dude, like this is literally what I imagined. This is what I imagined me doing, and like I'm doing it. Like this is actually that was kind of my hopefully my first of many like I made it moments because it was like, dude, like I actually worked, like I actually did it. Like I had a goal, I wanted to do this, and I got in and I'm like I'm here and I'm like doing it. And I feel like that is something that we we tend to forget as people because obviously like self-improvement 1000% good on self-improvement. You should always strive to be a better person of yourself, a better version of yourself, and just a better person overall. But I feel like sometimes as humans we're so caught up in like our future that we forget we're in the middle of what we used to pray for, right?
Damn.
Think about that. We're so caught up on our future and what we're striving to be that we forget how far we've come to where we are now. So if you go back into my first semester, I had like there there's a person that is in my first year. Like I have classes with him. He already works for TSN. Like he got a job. He works for Bar Down. Like it's crazy.
That's insane.
He works for Bar Down already. And I remember thinking, and I remember just looking at like all of these people that are like my year, but they're like doing better than me, obviously. And I remember thinking to myself, like like why am I not like them? Why am I not, why am I not working harder? Why am I not where they're at right now? And I felt a sense of like I'm behind and I'm not good enough, right? But then, like I said, I took a step back and I thought to myself, like, dude, if you rewinded, if you went back to myself a year ago and told me where I was a year from now, dude, I'd be over the moon. Like that is literally that is what I wanted to do. So like at that moment, I'm so caught up about, my future and why do I not, why am I not working in the sports industry? And I'm too busy comparing myself to other people that I forgot just how far I've come from a year ago. Like at the end of the day, bro, there's no point in comparing yourself to other people. Like let them do what they want to do. what's more important is you should just compare yourself to yourself. Just be a better version of yourself. Like I said, there's people that are 1,000%. There's people in my program that are doing way better than me. But there's also people in my program that are, the same as me, which, like I said, it's a completely fine thing.
Yeah.
Like, we are all in this program for a reason, right? And I feel like I just need to take a step back more and just, like I said, just realize like how far I've come, how impressive this is that I'm actually here doing this, right? Like, yeah, that's basically
Yeah,
it.
absolutely, man. Honestly, like that, the thought process here of how proud you are of yourself is really important, man. And to be honest, I low-key haven't felt that in a minute. I'm not gonna lie. I think that I have kind of become numb to it a bit. I think I need to achieve more to be happy. But at the end of the day, we always talk about gratitude, right? Especially on the podcast, we're always saying we're grateful for what we have, 100%. But you're definitely right that we tend to overlook a lot of the things we have these days. A lot of the opportunities that we wish we had many years ago, we're living it out now. Whether you're in school studying something you wanted to or playing a sport that you've always wanted to play well, then you're comparing yourself to the guy who's better than you. But in reality, you should just be really happy that you made it that far already, right? And nobody said to give up there. The point is to keep getting better no matter what. It's to take the gratitude, mix it with that never-ending determination to improve, and you just become unstoppable at that point. That is, without a doubt, the best thing you can do. And I was about to say I'm in the thick of it right now. I can't do this anymore. God, okay. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. The brain rot has like completely killed my ability to speak. Like I was about to do that too. I was about to do
cinema. Absolute cinema.
Oh no. But like I was about to say that I'm in that moment right now of I have a very, very tall tower or mountain that is kind of looming in front of me. Something very, very difficult that I can't really talk about right now because I need to conquer it first. I need to climb that mountain and place my flag on the top and shout with joy that I accomplished this first. And when I do, I'm gonna spill the whole lore on the pod for sure. But first I need to climb it. And just thinking about it, it's daunting. But it is nice hearing from you that relief, the joy, that euphoria you felt as you're flying past the Toronto skyline, realizing I made it, I'm here.
Yeah.
That feeling is something I'm going to strive for really, really hard within the next couple months. And I'm going to achieve this goal no matter what. I'd rather die than fail here. And that is the mentality you have to have for a lot of this stuff because the person who wants it the most will get it. That's, at the end of the day, that's just a fact. Why is this, like, I'm not saying we're doing bad. Absolutely not. But why are people out there blowing up within the first couple of weeks of making their channel? It's because they're simply putting in more hours. They're putting in more effort. They're finding ways to get better every single day.
Yeah.
So I need to do the same thing here. I got to put in my heart and soul into this podcast and really put in 1,000%, really push myself beyond what I thought was capable. And with this new challenge in front of me, I want to face that the best I can. In your opinion, what would be one piece of advice you'd have for someone who has a very difficult challenge in front of you? Because you had to move halfway across the country, be all on your own, and on top of that, you had some issues at home while you were gone as well, which we'll get into. But how did you face those challenges? What are some things that helped you out? And what would you say to somebody going through that right now?
I would say that you gotta just take it one day at a time. You can't expect like whatever anybody is kind of going through or dealing with, or whatever, mountain, like I said, whatever mountain you have to climb, you can't expect it just to kind of, like, you can't expect for it just to be better like that, right? Like you have to, it takes time. Everything takes time. And just know that, like you're going to have bad days. Everybody has bad days out there. And you just can't let that discourage you. You can't let that get you down. You just have to keep on going. There's a saying, kind of basketball, basketball people would know. It's called ball up top. Basically what it means is it's like every time you score, right? Or every time a play's done, you just say ball up top, which means that, you restart, you start the play again. So it's like, no matter what you're going through, no matter what kind of problems you're dealing with, like, you just got to keep on going. Like, you just got to keep on striving. You just got to keep on doing better. right? So, like I said, ball up top means you're starting the next possession. No matter what just happened, you might have gotten your ankles broken and gotten a three hit on your right, but it doesn't matter. Ball up top, next possession. What just happened doesn't matter anymore. It's a new possession. It's a new game. It's a new it's new. It's new for you, right? So it's like no matter what you're going through, just know that it will get better through time. It will get better, and like I said, what has happened in the past doesn't matter. It doesn't define you. And if you just keep on getting 1% better every single day, ultimately you will overcome your demons. You will climb that mountain. It just takes time.
Honestly, it takes time. That's like probably the best thing you could say to anyone, which is kind of frustrating because in a day and age where everything is so fast paced, it sucks that our progress isn't the same.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to speed this up and go as fast as possible, but you got to remember, man, we still have a bit of time. Like I'm saying, it's kind of a fine line to walk. You got to remember that we will all be gone from this earth one day. So your time here is finite. Make it count. But at the same time, don't be so hard on yourself because you haven't achieved a certain status or level of success.
Exactly.
Push yourself to be better, 100%. I'm not saying become complacent or anything. But you got to remember that there's a lot of people out there who have very different circumstances than you. You're comparing yourself to all these people out there when in reality, you should just focus on yourself and continue to get better.
Yep.
And I had this perspective really well because some of my friends, they're a bit older than me, some of my new acquaintances that I've made. And one person that I got to talk to, absolute legend, he's 29, and he had a job as an investment analyst for like this big firm. He was managing millions of dollars worth of assets. And after working there for several years, he quit and went to move on and work at a beer company, where like a high-end portion of it where he kind of manages the whole thing. And when I asked him, why did you leave? He said, I enjoy the beer company way more. And even though I may have made a good amount of money being this investment analyst, I realized that this other path was better for me. I enjoy it better. I can spend more time with my family. I can work from home most of the time and take care of my kid. When I kind of talked to him about that, I realized this whole time I've been comparing myself to him, saying, man, I really wish I did what he did. I wish I was at that success already. I still got like 8 years to catch up to him.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for that success right now. And all he's doing is seeing what the best option for him is. Now, if it was me, I'd be sitting here thinking, why would you give up that opportunity of being an investment analyst? Anyone who looks at him would have said the same thing. But he's way happier doing something different.
Exactly.
So you can't sit here hoping for somebody else's success when that isn't even what they wanted in the first place. They might find other things that are less attractive, but are better for them. So what I'm trying to say is you don't know what you're going to like. You don't know what's best for you. You just got to trust the process and take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Without getting too hung up on that one option. You just got to explore your avenues, take it a day at a time, and eventually you'll kind of end up where you need to be.
Yeah.
Right? That's like, I would say fate has a really crazy way of acting. Hearing that song for the first time, I'm assuming you just shuffled your playlist.
Yeah.
You just shuffled your playlist.
I was just listening to my like songs. Like it wasn't even a playlist. It was just my like songs, and obviously I liked that song in like October. And yeah, it just happened to appear.
And that's
out of thin air.
like fate, or I don't know. Okay, here's my question to you now. A deeper question. Do you believe in God?
I do.
Really?
I do.
Interesting.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe in higher power. Yes, exactly.
Interesting. Okay, now my question to you is, did you always believe in it, or has this been a newfound belief? Because previously, I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
You've never really brought it up. So I want to ask you now, do you believe in it now more so than before, or what changed?
I'd say, yeah, I believe in it. I believe in it definitely now, a lot more. One of the my mom always told me this actually, and kind of everything that's happened over like the past kind of few months, it's led me to kind of think of this more. The quote that my mom loves to say is, everything happens for a reason, right? So no matter kind of what's going on in my life or what's happening around me, I believe that there is a plan for me and for what I'm kind of meant to do in this life. So obviously all of the hardships, like they suck, man. Like I'm not gonna, no one's gonna sit there and pretend like, oh yeah, I love going through hardships. Like no, you don't, bro. Like stop lying. Like it's okay, but it's like all those kind of hardships. It's just it's good to know, or it's good to think that like this is happening to me for a reason. Like this isn't just happening to me because I'm unlucky. This isn't just happening to me because it deserves to happen to me. This is happening to me for a reason that I'm not aware of yet. And soon enough, as time will tell, you will kind of understand what that reason was.
I understand it now.
I
That's
understand it
exactly
now.
how you'll
I
feel.
understand it now.
Now, Caden, you are somebody who went through something, and I guarantee you in that moment, you must have wondered why it had to be you, right? You're in school, and this is in one of those weeks where everything was kind of sucky.
Yep.
Then you get a call from your mom, I'm imagining, and you get delivered some news.
Yeah.
In that situation, I can't imagine how devastating it was. Why don't you tell everybody about that story and how it made you feel?
Of course. So, this actually you're a little incorrect on the timeline. I was made aware of this before I left. Thankfully, if I was made aware of this when I wasn't with her, I would have lost my mind. But basically, what happened is, it was probably like a week or two after we got back from Japan.
Oh, wait, yeah, okay, I remember now. I remember now.
You remember the text message. So, my mom sat me down and she was like, she hit me with the good old, I have cancer, right? So, kind of what it was is, it was in her neck. She had like these kind of cysts, or what's it called? Oh my God, like the balls. What are the balls
tumors?
called? Yes, thank you. That's right. Yeah, she had like 3 or 4 tumors in her neck, and there was like a 99% chance that they were cancer. So she had cancer. And yeah, she was getting scheduled for like a major surgery to kind of, she had to get like part of her thyroid, I believe. Yeah, she had to get part of her thyroid removed for this to hopefully, go away. So, and that surgery was scheduled for, so think about like, so she was there with me. Like I said, she was there for a week. She left on the Sunday. Classes started on the Tuesday. Her surgery was the Thursday. So I was going into my 3rd full day of classes when this was happening. And like I said, I was alone. Like I was by myself. Thankfully, I did have something to do that night. Like there was kind of an event that I went to, which was good to kind of take my mind off of it. But yeah, it was very, very challenging, kind of experiencing, like I said, all these new things, meeting all these new people, trying all these, like I said, trying all these new things, and also kind of having to deal with that at the same time, like not being able to be there for her was very, very hard for me because, like I said, I live with her, right? Like I've lived with her my entire life. So not being able to be there with her when she kind of went through this was really, really difficult. But like thankfully, my aunt flew over from Halifax. My aunt flew over to her, and she was able to be with her for the surgery. And yeah, the surgery went well. She's cancer free. She might be watching this, so mom, if you're watching this, I love you. You're a warrior. Good job. Way to go. You did it. But yeah, it was definitely really, really scary. When I was first made aware of it, and yeah, not knowing that I was going to be there was tough, but in the end, thankfully it all worked out.
Yeah, it did.
It did.
Now, let me ask you this: did you learn something from that experience?
Yeah, I learned that.
You're good. You're good.
I learned that you need to cherish moments with people because obviously, thankfully, nothing bad happened, but realizing that something bad could happen, it made me think of like the people around me in a different way. Because I feel like as kids or as children, we always view our parents as like immortal in a way. Like, oh yeah, like they're invincible. Like, they can do everything. They can't die. Like it doesn't work like that. And when you come to like when something like this happens, or you come to the unfortunate realization that that is not like the case, it teaches you to value your moments with them a little bit more. And yeah, going through that, it was definitely hard, but yeah, it taught me that you should just cherish every single moment with your loved ones, with your friends, with your family, because ultimately, like I remember you guys were talking about this on one episode. See, I'm actually a fan.
See, he is the GOAT. He
It was the
knows.
episode where Johnny Gaudreau passed away, and you guys were talking about how you got to just cherish every single moment with the people around you, because deep down you'll never know when it's the last moment that you have with them. So yeah, that's kind of what that taught me.
There you go. See, this way he's the GOAT. That's why he's the GOAT. He can quote our episodes, man. He can quote us. That's crazy. Caden actually has like an absurd memory. Like, this guy's pulling up dates. He's like, this is the date I went to do this. This is the date I went to do that. Literally on the car ride here, he was like, oh yeah, 6 months ago to the day we did this.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you even know that? That's insane. And you were talking about how we just left for Japan. So I feel like that's something we definitely have to touch on, because Caden was one of the homies with us in Japan.
I was there.
It was crazy. It was
awesome.
a good time. Great time. So why don't you tell us a bit about your experience in Japan?
All right. So my experience in Japan was really good. I would say that so as many as people on the trip know, the first week was a bit of a crash out week for myself. For reasons that we will get into maybe another time.
Part 2 question mark?
Part 2 question mark. We will not get into them now, but something happened. And yeah, that was kind of the main thing that was on my mind for the first kind of week while we were there. But once I kind of learned to accept it, and most importantly, I was like, dude, like, even you guys, I remember you guys talking to me about this too. Like, dude, we planned this for so long. Like, you cannot let this sidetrack this. Like, deal with it when you get back. But right now, just enjoy the trip and just try to forget about it. And I did. I was able to forget about it. I was able for the last week, probably like once we got to Tokyo, yeah, I was able to forget about it, and yeah, it was awesome. The food was great. The people were awesome. This was mentioned in the Kalen guest episode, but Round 1 is the best place on earth.
Round 1 is the best place.
Round 1 is better than Disneyland.
Yo, okay, you know what we should do?
What?
We should build a Round 1 here.
I'm down. Yo, BC people, build a Round 1 here, please.
Yeah,
I'll give you all my money.
Okay, here's what we do. We hire an architect, we get investors, and then we build the Round 1. We're the owners of Round 1.
I'd be down to be the owner of Round 1.
It is a different experience. You guys have to go to Japan just to experience
It's a beautiful place.
It's so amazing, bro.
It's fantastic.
Oh my God. It was crazy. It was so crazy. I like actually love thinking about it, because I just get flashbacks to every single moment. Like, I can remember the aquarium. I remember Round 1. Yeah. I remember taking the Jason Tatum pictures after climbing that big ass mountain.
We did it.
We did it. Oh my God. It was a great time. It was a great time. If you can't tell, biggest lesson from Japan, at least from me, is travel. Travel with your friends, man, because you don't have a lot of time to do it, and the energy you need to be able to enjoy things to the max is crazy. Caden's a huge walker. Like a huge walker.
I am.
How much do you walk in like a day on average?
I've been down, I could tell you actually. I've been down this my best month I averaged 23,000 steps a day.
How does that even happen? 23,000 steps a day. That's insane.
I'm only averaging 15,502 this month.
Only,
so I've been down, but it'll get back up once I go back to Toronto probably.
Well, yeah, think about it this way, right? You're averaging 23,000, but most people would say, "Oh, like I average, maybe 15 to 20."
Yeah.
But this kid doesn't work. His school is right there. He lives on campus. He doesn't have to walk 50 miles to get to school.
Yeah, I just walk to walk.
There you go. He just walks to walk.
I just do it to do it.
Like, bro, on Life 360, we'll be looking. It's 2 a.m. and this guy's in the middle of nowhere just going on an adventure.
Dude, the side quests are highly recommended.
But they lead to some spooky scenarios, too.
They do. Sometimes they do, yeah.
Oh, God. I remember that one night. That one night was a scary experience, huh?
That was interesting, yeah. Thankfully, I did not give that dude my phone number.
Yeah, dude asked for his phone number.
Yeah.
That is a very scary experience.
Yeah.
How old was he?
I'd say the youngest was 40. Like he's
Oh, no.
40 or older.
Oh, no.
40 or older, yeah.
Yeah, Caden got followed by Diddy.
He wanted me.
He wanted him.
He wanted me.
bad. It was so bad. Yo, you know what the funniest thing is? I didn't tell you this, but when you called us and told us that story,
Yeah.
the face we all made on that Instagram video call, we were all like,
Yeah.
when you revealed the fact, when that happened, I have a screenshot on my phone of the video call of all of us like, what the hell, bro?
That's funny.
Oh my God. It's so funny. I'll show you after the episode is done.
Perfect.
But my last question to you, Caden, is if you could say one thing to every single person on planet Earth, they'd hear you simultaneously,
Yep.
what would you say to them?
Follow your dreams, man. At the end of the day, follow your dreams. You were like kind of briefly talking about it, and I did want to touch on this. I want you guys to think about something for a second, right? Ultimately, when we all pass away or leave this earth, at our gravestone, right? It's going to be the day that we were born and the day that we die, right? What is in the middle?
A dash?
Exactly. It does not matter if you were a millionaire. It does not matter if you were homeless. It does not matter what you did in life. Every single person is going to have that exact same dash on their gravestone. It's not going to say, you think Elon Musk's gravestone is going to say, I invented Tesla? No, it's just going to be a dash. So that dash gives you permission to do whatever you want in life. At the end of the day, happiness is better than any amount of money. That's what it was. When you were talking about the dude and how he quit his job to work at a beer company because he has more time with his kids and that makes him happier. Like, ultimately, like that's why I chose sport media, because I'd rather make $60,000 and actually enjoy what I'm doing than make $100,000 and hate every single day I'm at work. If you can find something that feels like a hobby and make it your career, you will be happy. Like, you will ultimately be happy. My yearbook quote, actually, it's from the greatest philosopher of all time, Uncle Iroh from Avatar.
W.
And yeah, it just says, follow your passion and life will reward you. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, when every single person has moved on from this life, we are all going to have that exact same dash on our gravestone. So make that dash whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Travel. Go on. Meet new people. Make new memories. Make new, experience new things. Ask that girl out, bro. Like, it doesn't matter. It really, like, it in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter. Follow your dreams. Do what you want in life. Take that risk. Like, just do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. At the end of the day, man, it's like following your dreams and following your goals and striving for better. It makes life so much more enjoyable, because once you actually do it, it's just going to feel so rewarding and so awesome and so just fantastic. So yeah, if I was to say one thing to everyone in the world, dude, just follow your dreams, man. Just do what you want to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's only one thing I can do to show you how incredible that was. Absolute cinema. Okay, that was a fantastic speech. Great way to cap off this episode. Thank you so much for joining us. But before we go, y'all already know what time it is. It is time for Quote of the
Week.
Quote of the Week, baby, with our guest episode. Here we go. Regret is proof that you cared, but growth is proof that you learned. So this is a quote that I literally just found on an Instagram reel. I don't really know. I swear, bro, there are so many Instagram accounts that just drop the craziest quotes ever.
He was doom scrolling.
Perchance.
Maybe.
But let me tell you guys, go find those pages out there. They will deliver a lot of wisdom to you. But just to quickly dissect the quote before y'all leave, regret is just saying I cared about this certain situation. But regret is nothing without learning and growth, right? If you have something in your past that you don't like how you handled it, take it and just learn. Just move on the next time you encounter that situation to be better. Caden, I feel like you're the perfect person to say this quote to, because I guarantee you have some things you wish you did differently in your first semester.
Yeah.
But now you have the opportunity when you go back to change things, to be better, to be the best version of yourself. And when you come back in the summertime, we're going to have a crazy lore drop. We're going to have a crazy part 2 episode, hopefully.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to see the growth, the change. But at the end of the day, I think you've inspired a lot of people today. So thank you so much for joining us on the Brighter Heads podcast. Great guest episode. And hopefully we will see Caden around again soon. But thank you guys so much for watching. And hopefully when he's back in the summertime, you guys will all be here to see part 2, the update on the lore, how he's doing now. And yeah, we'll get into it. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you live a positive life, y'all. Peace out.